A few weeks ago, I had to call myself out on my bullshit because I was saying that I was going to do stuff that I was not doing, but there was a mental block that I could not move for the life of me. This episode is going to be your anti-anxiety, anti-procrastination, let me get my shit together kind of vibe, because we are talking very seriously about Jordan Peterson's advice. What a man. Some of you might not think that, but I really do stand for a lot of the guidance that he says. And we're going to start off with clean your room. You're probably thinking, Millie, what the hell are you talking about? But this is what Jordan Peterson says. It's almost his tagline for how you start to get yourself out of a position where you feel like, I just can't do anything. Like you almost feel paralyzed to move forwards with whatever it is that you're procrastinating on or struggling with. So for me personally, a few weeks ago, I had a significant amount that was going on behind the scenes personally. And I just thought, I'm going to try and just get through my day, feeding myself along with getting through everything that I had to sort out personally, and then perform as an athlete and run a business and do all of this shit that I have to do because I love doing it. I genuinely, truly do love doing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't do it. But it does get taxing after a while. And if you haven't had much time to invest into yourself. I was just becoming best friends with Deliveroo. Like, you know, when you're ordering so much that you're like, oh, okay, I'm feeling like pretty soon the delivery guy is going to be like, you okay? You okay, miss? Should have offered him a cup of tea. So I was just basically leaning on convenience foods because I was so occupied with other things I had to do. I don't care what anyone says, but if you're constantly eating different foods and different meals and there's no like regular structure to your nutrition, it will impact your energy levels. I also think it just kind of like leaches some of the pride and comfort that you have in how you're looking after yourself. I actually think it's a bit of a confidence stealer. It's different if you've got like a meal prep company or if you've got, I don't know, someone who prepares really healthy, lovely, nutritious foods for you and you eat regularly. I'm talking about like your life is a mess. You're buying stuff on the go, you're ordering stuff, nothing's the same. Your body doesn't know what's coming next. That is like pretty disrespectful because you're not fueling your body in a way that treats that machine that it is with the best quality fuel. And I wasn't liking that about me. I was icking myself out. And I'm talking honestly from the perspective here of a health and fitness coach. Because guess what? As much as I am a health and fitness coach, I'm also a businesswoman. I'm also a sister. I'm also a friend. I'm also all of the things that I do, a podcaster, a YouTuber, a content creator. And sometimes it's so difficult to spin all of those plates at once that something has to give. And what was giving was not the fitness side, but it was the nutrition side of the health and well-being sector of my life. But I didn't like the consequences that had. This is when I called up my friend Jordan Peterson and said, what would you advise? AKA, I typed into ChatGPT, hey, here's how I'm feeling. What would Jordan Peterson say? I'm being serious here, right, guys? If you don't ask ChatGPT to speak from the perspective of people that you're inspired by, you are literally missing out on free coaching that would otherwise cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands, possibly even millions. I take the experts from every single industry and I ask ChatGPT to explain things to me in their tone and their terminology, whether it's Jordan Peterson, whether it's Andrew Huberman, whether it's Marissa Peer, like it doesn't matter who it is, but these scientists and just absolute thought leaders in their sectors are like now all my best friends through my robot friend ChatGPT, because you can ask in that situation, what would they tell you? And this is how the future's going, right? I'm sure it's not going to be too long until we have a chat with Millie Tsvietkovich AI. That's going to be crazy because there's so many content creators now and thought leaders putting all of their content that they've ever recorded in the whole world, which for some people would be hundreds and thousands, if not millions of hours, and I'm sure eventually I'll feel the same way. They put it into a robot and then you can ask it anything. I also just want to say, if anyone is struggling with the whole dating situation, Matthew Hussey, incredible like relationship and dating coach, he has Matthew Hussey AI, and I thought I've got to try and see what this is like. Maybe I can build my own. And to be fair, it's really impressive. Even more impressive that it then reads it his advice in his voice. I love. I'm so rooting for whatever is going to happen with technology. I know that everyone's scared, but maybe I'm just saying the good parts right now. I'm going to let you into a secret here, which is that my jaw hit the ground when I realized that only 7.5% of people who listen to the 1 in a Million podcast are actually subscribed. That means 92.5% of people are leaving the room not having committed to themselves to keep coming back to listen to information that is going to make them the most healthy, confident, successful versions of themselves. Our guests are some of the top 1% of people in the world. They are incredible, and you are learning from them for free. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is hit subscribe, because not only does it commit you to becoming a better person, but it also helps me to understand what content you want to see more of, and it supports the channel, and good karma will come your way. Back to what I was saying. I got in touch with Jordan Peterson, or at least the robot version of him, and I asked, what is the best thing that I can do right now to click things into place so it doesn't feel so difficult? Because genuinely, I did feel paralyzed. I didn't want to think about what to cook. I didn't want to have to bother buying groceries. I was just feeling like I just have to get through the important things that I know other people rely on me for at this point in time, and the real important life priorities. For instance, like moving out of my apartment by a set date and making sure that everything was done and dusted. That is a huge pressure. This was Jordan Peterson's advice. He said, clean your room. This is not just about tidiness, it's about reclaiming order. When life feels chaotic, start with what you can control. Build structure from the bottom up. Small wins build confidence. The theory there is you chunk down whatever it is that you need to do into the smallest possible task to make it feel pretty much effortless or very, very simple. And from there, what happens when you've done something that feels difficult or feels slightly challenging, but you've made progress? Dopamine. Dopamine is what happens. And what happens when we get dopamine? We feel good. We feel good. We feel happy. We feel proud. We feel so much better. And that creates momentum. And then when we have momentum, what can we do? We can do more of hard things. We build our resilience. And then the world is your freaking oyster. So this is very, very important to consider when it comes to what you might be feeling stuck with right now. Another thing that Jordan also told me was voluntary confrontation with chaos leads to competence. That means walking into your room, which might be really messy, and looking at it and just acknowledging how messy it is. That might be opening up your bank statement and looking at how chaotic it is. Because if that fills you with a little bit of dread, it's probably exactly what Jordan is talking about here. When you tackle what you fear, you prove to yourself that you can cope, and then you expand. Because actually confronting yourself with something that's not good, it brings most people the effort to think about, okay, how am I going to sort this out, right? Whereas if it's always there kind of lingering in the background and you're just ignoring it, but it's there, it's going to start to eat away at you, and it's going to start to build anxiety. Anxiety often is rooted in avoidance of something that you're not happy about or that doesn't bring you much joy. So if it feels difficult, if it feels scary, if it feels worrying, if it feels confusing, avoiding that thing is actually where anxiety builds. I'm sure you've had it so many times where when you've addressed something, let's say You're trying to get your head around something at work or maybe in your studies, and it feels very alien to you, but you know that you need to do it. However, you keep avoiding it. And the size of that beast just keeps growing and growing and growing in your mind to the point where you're like, please, please don't, please don't hurt me. Then you sit down and you begin. You just begin reading. You ask someone, hey, how'd you do this? And they show you. And before you know it, you're like, oh, is that it? And that feeling of, oh my goodness, is that it? Is incredible. I'll never forget when I was at university, I had a best friend called George. Shout out, George, if you're listening to this. It's been a while. And he was so incredibly clever, so smart, like to the point where I really envied him. I'm not going to lie, George, still to this day, I think that you have photographic memory because like he would sit in a lecture and like not write any notes. And we studied chemistry, right? Imagine a board with chemical equations and quantum physics all on there and atoms and stuff. And he would just sit and just stare. And then he'd leave and we'd be in the library a few hours later and I'd be there with all my textbooks and all my notes and everything and try and start answering what chemical was produced in a certain reaction. And he's just there completely, somehow, from his mind, drawing every atom and molecule in the perfect order and every single step and stage of this chemical reaction that happens to lead to the final product. And I'm there with all my notes and all the pictures and everything, and I still can't figure that shit out. So George, I swear to God, I think you had photographic memory. And I'm sorry that if you don't, maybe you're just really clever and you have a crazy good IQ, but still, it made me feel incredibly inferior. And for someone who didn't work as hard as I did, I'm glad that you absolutely crushed it and got really good grades. Kudos to you. I just wanted to take a quick moment to interrupt this podcast episode to tell you how we transform every single woman that comes on board and works with us at Team CBM to wake up energized, confident, healthy, and in complete control of their schedule, nutrition, and exercise. And it begins with a very simple discovery call. It's just a strategy call where we get to understand your goals, your struggles, your life that much better so we know exactly what you need to do, the roadmap to get to where you want to be as efficiently as possible and in a way that's incredibly sustainable, and it means that your results will last forever. Once you begin the process, you will have everything delivered through our custom coaching app, and your tailored, personalized nutrition plans and exercise plans are created to your preferences. Whether that's home training or gym training, perhaps your nutrition could be a flexible meal plan, or it's portion guides or calories and macro targets, but we design and create that together so that it works for you. Beyond that, you will have daily communication with us if you need it, and you will have a weekly video check-in response from your coach discussing any changes and amendments to be made for the following week. We will always review your progress monthly on a monthly progress review call, and it means that your progress and your transformation is fail-proof. It is guaranteed. Beyond coaching, we provide an extensive educational platform where we include webinars, resources, guides, recipe books. Think about the value that you get in this podcast times 100, including our community of incredible women who support each other through every high and low that you could possibly imagine. So if you're interested in finding out more about joining the world's most trusted and comprehensive online coaching company for women, then all you need to do is click in the description box below to book your complimentary discovery call. And we would love to chat more with you about your goals and to get you feeling the happiest and most confident that you will ever feel. Back to the episode. Basically, what I think I was trying to say was, even if you're someone that feels like they've put in a lot of work, and it still feels like you're not quite getting it, just by asking somebody else, how did you get from A to B? And they show you, and then you're like, oh, that was it? Like you kind of copy someone's homework, you're like, oh, is that it? Oh, okay, so it wasn't that bad. And that's why study groups and learning from people and mentors and coaches is the best thing ever, because you're constantly learning from other people's mistakes, or you're constantly just having someone show you in their way, in a really simple way that their mind does it, what the answer is. Now, back to confronting chaos. If you were to sit and confront what maybe had been stressing you out and you're seeking guidance from someone to help with this, first step, it makes it so easy. Maybe you turn to your partner and you say, hey, like, my mental health has just been so low, like bottom of the barrel low, and my room is such a mess and I can't even bring myself to tidy it. Would you mind like just helping me for like a minute or two, or even just showing me where you would start? And your partner goes into your room, and the first thing that they do is they collect your dirty laundry, which is scattered across the carpet, and they put it in the laundry basket. And then they say, maybe the next thing that we should do is get the vacuum cleaner out and now vacuum the floor. And then you think, oh, okay, I can do that. Because you've almost had a springboard or a kickstart. This is the science of the small task method. You're breaking things down into tiny chunks that don't feel like they're going to suck the soul out of you. And that's how you can continue to just slowly but surely, steadily, patiently, kindly climb out of a rut that you might have found yourself in. So when it comes to how this translates over significantly to my life and to the life of our clients at Team TBM, it can be even down to having traveled, having been really busy, having been injured, having been sick, and the fear of going back to the gym is huge. And that's where I say, don't even worry about doing a workout. I literally just want you to go to the gym, walk in, and walk on the treadmill. Can you do that? For 5 minutes, just walk on the treadmill. And most of my clients are like, what the fuck? Why the hell would I go to the gym just to walk for 5 minutes on the treadmill? That's when I say, hey, listen to me. I'm the coach here. No, I'm joking. I kindly explain to them why I think it would be a great idea and encourage them to do so. And then afterwards, they say, well, I got to the gym and I was like on the treadmill for 5 minutes and I thought, okay, well, let me just do an extra 10, 15. And then I kind of felt like I wanted to do a bit of a workout. So I did 2 or 3 exercises and felt pretty good afterwards. So I'm excited to go back tomorrow. Because we stripped back all of the fear that had accumulated, all of the anxiety by it seeming like a really big task and actually just making it seem almost futile, almost pointless. Because it seemed so small, it then allowed them the capacity to expand into doing a really good job. But if they'd expected themselves, after being sick or after having been away, to go in and do a workout at full capacity, crush their numbers, which would not be possible anyway, they would have set themselves up for disappointment. Maybe it doesn't even need to be go on the treadmill. Maybe it could even be, okay, well, tomorrow, can you just lay your shoes out? And then when you wake up, you put your shoes on and you go and step outside. I've actually done that this week with a client who is dealing with a back injury. And this client has been very much so kind of in the cooped up indoors. Everything hurts. But that also doesn't help. And this client is not completely immobilized. And actually just going and sitting outside and getting some fresh air and looking at the birds and the trees and being mindful of the good and positives in life is going to, what's it going to do? What we spoke about earlier. It's going to generate more happy chemicals, good neurotransmitters that will make them feel better. So their small task was literally just to go and sit outside for 10 minutes. And then what did that turn into? That turned into walking around the block. And that turned into the back getting better. My point is, it can be so goddamn simple. And for me, at the time when I was feeling overwhelmed, I was relying on convenience foods because of how much I had going on. What did I start to do? I decided that I was just going to start tracking my food. This was my small task because I didn't want to start prepping food. I couldn't be bothered to order food, to think about recipes, to spend a significant amount of time doing that because I was really time sensitive. But what I knew I could do was control my caloric intake. And so every single thing that I ate, I just made sure that I scanned the calories from the packet or that I took it from the restaurant and put it into MyFitnessPal. And at least then I caught myself early to prevent myself from overeating too much and got myself back on track. And then after a while, I was like, man, all of this food has so many calories in it and it's not very high volume. I'm going to start prepping my own food. And by that point, I was like, oh, okay, I'm back into routine. I'm just creating my own food now because it didn't seem so difficult. And in fact, it gave me actually the motivation to go back to the habits that I know serve me really, really well. Other things. One client couldn't get out of bed. They were feeling mentally low. It was just brush your hair was the first task that we worked on getting them to do. And then before you knew it, they were back waking up, doing a morning walk, full face of makeup, then going to work. And that was really magical for me because we took someone from a pretty low mental state to a really happy place, feeling themselves again, just through breaking things down to be so small and simple. And you've got to trick your brain chemistry to be able to do that. Some examples that I want to highlight from incredible speakers in the self-development or the mindset niche and the things that they've spoken about before that have really helped me. I just want to highlight these to you. So Mel Robbins has the 5-second rule. You can go and read her book about this. But it's very, very simple, to be quite frank. You count down from 5, and when you get to 1, you do the thing. Perfect for someone who is a snoozer. If you're a snoozer and you struggle to get out of bed, when you are conscious in the morning and you feel like just staying in bed, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, get up and go. Get up and go. Like as if someone is gonna freaking smack you round up, or as if someone's going to fire a gun, something like that. So it feels intense. Like when you get to 1, you got to do the thing, right? The mind is amazing when you visualize what it can get you to do. So for me, I was like, okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. If I don't get out of bed and do this, then insert some kind of negative thing that might happen. And actually, it's reverse psychology. Like you don't want that to happen. So before you know it, you're out of bed and you're like, oh, okay, I've done the thing. Or maybe it's, I actually did this recently when I went to Oman. I went for a little girls' weekend in Oman, and we went and swam through a wadi, which is basically like, it's like a valley with a river running through it. Beautiful. Honestly, if anyone has not seen the beautiful nature and the pictures of Oman and Oman's wadis, then like you have to. It's just out of this world. I was jumping into a pool in the wadi and I was really high up. I think it was maybe like a 10-meter jump. Maybe it wasn't a 10-meter jump, but it felt so high. And like I peered over the edge and I looked down and like, I just felt my stomach churn. Like it just felt like there was a vortex in my belly. And that's when I knew, I was like, you've climbed all the way up here to jump. And now every single thing in your body is saying, bitch, are you crazy? Are you trying to kill us right now? What are you doing? And that's where I had my 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 rule. And genuinely under my breath, I was like 5, 4, 3, 2. And I psyched myself out. I jumped before I even got to 1. And it was exhilarating. It was one of those things where I was like a kid going down a water slide for the first time. I was like, again. Because it's never as bad as what it seems. So shout out to Mel Robbins for that one. The next one is The Rock, saying that the hardest part of a workout is putting on his shoes, which also I completely agree with. If you have your shoes and your workout clothes laid out, and it's right there for you, it is pretty fail-proof to get you up and out or getting to the gym. So, just a few takeaways for you here. Your brain is waiting for evidence that you're still in the game. So give it some. Not tomorrow, not when you're motivated, but today. You don't need a master plan, you just need the small task. And do the one thing that makes everything else easier. Fold your laundry, drink a protein shake, message a coach, hire a coach, or message a coach to find out more about coaching. Because it's also easier when you've got someone to tell you what that small task should be, right? I'm speaking from a perspective here of, okay, fortunately, I've had a huge amount of experience, not only teaching this to my clients, but also I have my own coaches. I have my own coaches to message if I really, truly was struggling, to be like, hey, I can't right now. Like everything is stopping me. And they could say, okay, Mills, just focus on this. And that's one step, that's one foot forward. So I absolutely urge you to just go and do that one small thing that will cascade to lots of motivation, success. And the most important thing is you can't not get the benefits from the positive brain chemicals when you do something challenging that is going to lead to momentum. It is literally a catalyst to everything going the right way again if you just start with this one small thing. So let this episode be a moment where it all turns around and you start making incredible progress. I have absolutely no doubt that if you chunk the task down to be the smallest possible task that you can even think of, that it will lead to incredible success. Thank you very, very much for tuning in, guys. I'm going to catch you in the next one. Much love. If you think that episode was valuable, then you definitely need to go and listen to episode 27, Cortisol, the hidden fat loss killer, why women struggle and how to fix it. It is going to blow your mind and make everything moving forwards so much easier for you. Definitely go and give it a listen.